Um, well, this is actually a really funny story because how I got into metal was
Welcome to the New Music Podcast. We're your two regular jackoffs from upstate New York. My name is Patrick.
And I'm Kyle.
And this is the podcast where we do the thing and we talk to people. What is good? Logan from Eternal Void, how are things?
I'm existing currently.
I feel
That's pretty good, all things considered.
good.
Oh, man. So, how are things since quarantine started for you? I know it's been like a year, so there's a lot of things we can talk about there, but how is that going for you?
It sucks, dude. I just want to play shows again, but I'm not going to rush into it with everything going on. So it's like just waiting. It was always like the thing that was fun to go out and do. But outside of that, just been sitting at home playing a lot of video games and watching a lot of anime. So not much is different, to be honest.
Well, shit, before we get into actual interview questions, I'm curious about that. What games are you playing? What anime are you watching?
Listen here, motherfucker. That was my video game topic. Fuck out of here. I'm the video game.
Well, there you go. You guys got plenty to talk about.
I've been playing Valheim a lot recently with some friends. And then I've been playing I hate it admitting this, but I've been playing Fortnite also because it's fun. It's not the best game in the world, but
no, it is not.
It's chill. So, and I can play with friends from other platforms. Outside of that, I need to get back into Hades, and then I'm just waiting for more games to come out.
Truth is, I haven't really given Fortnite or any game really much of a chance to impress me anymore.
I recently got back into Fortnite for a little bit, but then I was like, you know what? This is ever since matchmaking based or whatever the fuck it's called now that they have now, which is all right, but.
See, I'm bad, so in that game I can't build worth shit. So I get put with people who are bad, and it's a fun time. So
that's what you basically get. That's what I did. I was like, wow, this is fucking easy. People don't have fingers. Like, what the fuck?
There are a lot of children playing as well, and if that's what it takes to make me feel good about video games, it is destroying
the hell
children
out of small kids.
Hey, they are the one who chose to play online. Okay, it's just part of the game.
And I just love their trash talk. I love their energy.
I don't have the energy to trash talk anymore. Like the kid says something, I'm just like, yeah, okay, you're right.
It's okay. Why don't you take your barely usable penis and you literally go stick it in a sock or something, kid?
Especially Fortnite. Like, who the fuck talks shit on Fortnite? Like, come on.
I don't know. I don't know enough about the game to really know what kind of shit you have to say. Like, what? I no-scoped you, bro.
Well, no, it's even worse because since you can't actually hear other people, all they do is dance on your dead body and do the dumb dances from the game.
That's just BM as fuck.
I mean, that's a mood. I like to dance over corpses.
The only thing that I like from Call of Duty is like when you kill somebody, they just scream or some shit.
Yeah.
And what about anime? What anime are you watching right now?
I just finished the 3 Berserk movies. Those were really good. That was
interesting. The third one really fucked me up.
Yeah, the third one is traumatizing for sure. Like amazing movies, but yeah, the last one is horrifying for so many reasons.
I just wish they would branch out from just there. I could tell they were trying to like wrap it up, but that was the part that fascinated me the most.
Yeah, because there's so much more to go into, but like despite it being such an old series, like it hasn't gotten a good adaptation yet. Yeah,
aged very well.
It's like JoJo though. I love JoJo still, and that's old. So.
All right, that's one I keep getting told to like watch, and it gets such like either yay or nay reviews on it that like I just need to watch the fucking thing so I can understand why.
Yeah.
You'll either love it or hate it. Like, despite a lot of people saying not to do this, start at part 3 because that's like the most known, and it's like
okay.
and it's probably like the most memey, like the goofiest, but it's still serious at times. But if you don't like that after a few episodes, you'll know if you'll like the series or not.
Gotcha. Because I've had a bunch of people tell me that I should have tried to get further into Attack on Titan before deciding it was the single most overrated anime on the planet.
It is pretty overrated. I like
I
it.
say the same thing.
Like, I like the show. Like, I genuinely am having a good time enjoying it. I thought the first season was the worst season, but it's
Okay.
pretty good. I don't understand why it is like the most hype anime right now.
I do
But
like the art for it, and that is kind of just like the one thing that keeps drawing me back to it is the art style. And I'm sorry, but that opening scene is what just like captivated me to get 14 episodes in. But after a
yeah,
while, it's just like I can't watch you be a whiny little bitch any longer. There's no character development. You're just being a bitch.
well, eventually there is a time skip, so
So
things
I didn't
change
give it
up.
enough of a chance, is what I'm being
Well,
told.
it doesn't do that until season 4. I will say that. So
Okay, I'm not that patient, dude. I got 2 kids. I don't
that's
got that kind
fair.
of time.
My
So I'll just jump to
recommendation,
season
though,
4.
my favorite newer anime at the moment is Jujutsu Kaisen. Though that one is really good.
I've heard that was pretty good.
Yeah,
What's
it's
so
like
what's the synopsis on that? Like what is that one?
they're like sorcerers essentially, but it's like in terms of like removing curses in Japan. So it's like they essentially go out and destroy curses, and it's all about like that. I don't want to go too much into it without spoiling some of it, but it's
Yeah.
like it's goofy at times, but it's also gets pretty dark, and it has a scene in one of the newer episodes that is probably the closest I felt to the hype that I felt like watching Dragon Ball Z as a kid. So I
Okay.
really like it. It's I've also watched a lot of Super lately. I guess that's another anime I've been watching. I love Dragon Ball, despite
Are
it
they
not being
done
the
with
best.
Super?
They are. They are.
Come
Well,
on. You just got to the good part in the last like 20 episodes or so.
yeah, but there's more coming. So
There
at
has
least
to
that.
be.
Yeah, because the manga actually has more that happened, and they finished
Yeah.
an arc that's not out yet in the anime, and they're starting another one already. So there's going to be a lot more coming.
Well, fuck me. All right, I guess I just got to be patient because I felt like they finally did the series right by acting like GT never even happened and then going on with Super. And I don't know. I just felt like that worked
I'll
way
say
better.
it though, I love Super Saiyan 4's design. That is like one of my favorite
I will give it that
designs.
because you can tell that the artist was still in it, but they had a whole different person writing for it, and that's why GT came out so weird.
Yeah.
Or at least that's how I understand it, anyways. I'm not as
Yeah, like
weeb
Toriyama helped
as
with some designs and stuff. Like I think he actually did design Super Saiyan 4, but like he did not control the story at all.
It's weird. It's weird when you think of it like that because he's done everything up until that point. So I
Yeah.
don't know what was the circumstances leading up to, why he decided to take a breather on writing just then, but I don't know.
Well, what's interesting is they did because there's like a whole spin-off series called Dragon Ball Heroes. It's like a what if situation.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I think I heard about that. Yeah.
and what they did is they took GT's timeline and made it like an alternate reality through like Trunks' time travel guardian stuff he does. So it's like you do have a point where it's like Super Saiyan Blue Goku fights Super Saiyan 4 Goku and stuff like that. Like it's
Okay,
just
I'm
like
hard.
yeah, it's literally, and then there's like Super Saiyan 4 Brawly fighting Xeno's Super Saiyan Gogeta. Like it's the guy who made, you guys remember when we were kids those really old Dragon Ball AF pictures?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is the guy who made those who was hired by them to make Heroes, like the spin-off. So like the guy who wrote fan fiction got to write official fan fiction now.
That's amazing.
Out of here. Yo, that's legit. Damn.
Well, we can talk about something else now if you'd like. I get stuck on anime and video games.
That's fine.
No, like the fact that like welcome to the New Music Podcast. We literally go all over the fucking place. But don't worry, listeners. We will get to talking about the music at some point, whenever we fucking feel like it.
I'm really into like very gory animes. Those are my favorite. Like just absurd gory animes.
Gory for no fucking reason, which reminds me, what was it? Genocyber or something you were telling me?
Genocyber, bro. That's
the one that like I gotta find out where I can stream that because you sold me on it.
I said you can look up at YouTube. You can literally look up Genocyber full series or whatever. It's just one season of pure absolute nothingness, just gore. It just makes no fucking sense.
I'm like on the opposite end. I don't mind gore and stuff, but I want to have like either really cool animation, but I normally want some semblance of a good plot in there.
I mean,
like that's what hooks me in a lot of stuff. Which
mean-
it's whatever anyone wants it to be. It's
Yeah.
like how you spend your free time. You know,
it's like literally the preference of it is this little girl that turns into this huge ass alien and just starts killing people for good reasons because she's like trying to protect people, but against this military or some shit. But it makes no fucking sense. It makes no sense.
There's a lot of anime out there that doesn't make sense. Let's be honest.
That's one of the great things about anime is that it doesn't need to make sense. It just needs to exist in its own lane.
And the sucky part is my girlfriend doesn't watch that kind of stuff. So I'm like, fuck.
Well, Logan, I don't know about you, but like I've gotten my wife to watch Death Note and Samurai Champloo. Like those are the only two anime that I've gotten her to like.
Samurai Jack.
No, not Samurai Jack.
Samurai Champloo is actually my all-time favorite anime.
15 out of 10. One of the best stories I've ever watched.
But luckily, Sydney, my fiance, like she likes watching that stuff. So like we just watch all that stuff together. Like we both have dual monitor setups in here, and like I'll put anime on one screen while we play games on the other.
That's legit. That's fucking legit. Yeah. I don't know. I got a very special place in my heart for that time period of like Adult Swim and Toonami.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do. It's like a nostalgia that's always going to be there. But for me too, it's just Samurai Champloo is just that good of a show as well. Like even the soundtrack, I still listen to like today.
It was a good ass soundtrack, and I'm not even that into hip hop.
What's sad is that guy ended up dying when he was like 21, and a car hit him in Japan. The guy who like worked on that soundtrack, and he like influenced a lot of lo-fi like style stuff.
Really?
Yeah. So
That's
it's sad. Like it sucks because he was just getting like really popular, and then that happened.
Damn.
So it's like, well, shit.
Do you think his music might have been in Fooly Cooly? Because I don't know what music was in Fooly Cooly, but I remember like low key jamming out to it while like trying to stay up all night watching.
No,
TV.
That's The Pillows. It was. I don't think they ever made anything else except that album for the anime. I could be wrong, but that's the only one I remember when I looked it up.
Anime has a very like strong influence on music, and like a lot of people probably wouldn't think that if they weren't into anime at all.
Oh yeah, like people love Thundercat and don't know he's like the biggest weeb out there. So, well, now they do since Dragon Ball Durag came out. Now they know he's a huge weeb. If they didn't, before, but
I don't know who we're talking about, to be honest. I don't know who these people are.
It's the dude who used to play bass in Suicidal Tendencies, and then he just started doing his own thing, and it's like super chill, weird bass playing stuff. Like it's weird. It's hard to explain.
No,
they made a whole song about putting on a Dragon Ball Z do-rag and like trying to pick up women, and it's the funniest.
Yeah,
and it's a jam too. It's like genuinely good. It has a groove to it.
I'm not gonna lie, I am curious as hell. Oh man, a lot of good suggestions so far here. But let's switch gears now. I'm kind of curious because our usual question on this show, if you guys have been listening for a while, what is your origin story? How did you get started into music? How did you get started into aggressive music?
Well, this is actually a really funny story because how I got into metal was my friends played Rock Band a lot, and they all listened, like not all of them, but a chunk of them listened to metal. And I really didn't at the time. Like I listened to like Metallica and Iron Maiden, but that was about where I cut it off. And like no one ever wanted to do vocals when we played Rock Band, and I was like, I can do that shit. It's easy. And then I did it, and they were like, oh shit, like you can actually do this. And then they're like, you should join the band we're starting. I'm like, I have nothing better to do, so okay, I'll do this. And it just went from there. What started as a joke ended up me becoming like pretty serious about music, so it's a weird way to get there.
Well, do you remember what that first song was?
Oh yeah, it was Asking Alexandria. I don't remember what song, but it was Asking Alexandria. Like that's how I learned how to
Oh, you
scream.
need to know the song though.
It would be whatever was probably Rock Band DLC. I would have to look it up, but it's
Oh,
probably
Well,
like
those were the days, man, when Rock Band allowed you to download your own music and stuff. Like that was the time
yeah,
to be into Rock Band.
I have Rock
yeah.
Band too, and I downloaded the stuff too.
I also
I
had
it's definitely off the Stand Up and Scream album, no matter what. It's definitely on
yeah. I think I also yeah, it definitely was whatever it was. And then like I also played like along like the Word Alive and stuff when we played it on there, and it just went from there. And then I
there.
became a prog snob for a bit, and then went back to liking everything. So
That's the funny thing about prog. It's like I think that prog and like slam are like the two genres where people like when they find themselves in that subgenre, they're like everything else sucks.
yeah,
This is it.
it's like the elitist genres, but like not to say all the fans are bad in those genres, but they are the ones who are like, this is the genre you should be listening to,
Yeah,
or you just aren't doing it right.
I've
I think it
noticed the heavier genres are like that,
yeah.
especially subgenres like
Yeah.
subgenre core grind and shit like that. It's like, nope, you gotta listen to this, or else it's rank.
They're definitely a magnet for gatekeepers or just
Yeah,
that personality type.
Yeah. I think in the realm of like, because obviously, like with what we release, there is some like deathcore influence at times. Like the next song, I could easily see people why we get listed as deathcore sometimes with certain songs, and next
Hmm.
song's one of those. But being in the metalcore world, it seems like metalcore is finally opening up again to where it's like what people are okay with in that genre isn't like people are experimenting. You have stuff like Loathe, Spirit Box, all these
Yup.
bands who are like trying different kinds of
yeah.
things.
Absolutely. It's funny because I was just saying that on a podcast with the guy from Saving Vice, and he was saying something along those lines as well. That it's so experimental and that a lot of people are not giving it quite the chance and just assuming that all of it's generic because the stuff at the top has been kind of generic, or as Finn McKenty would call butt rock.
Yeah. And what's funny is even Tyler actually, I used to be a fan of his old band called In the Name of when they were managed by Craig Mabbitt back in the day.
Jesus
So
Christ, I
like
forget that Craig Mabbitt actually managed bands for a while.
yeah, and he was in a band that did, and I used to think that band that he was in was one of the coolest bands in the world. So it was like I recently just hit him up again. It was just like, hey, like back in the day, I really was in your stuff. Like just wanted to say that because it was something I remembered, and that was a kind of cool moment. Just because it was like a memory that came back to me. I was like, oh yeah, this was a thing when I was younger.
I don't think most people know that Craig Mabbitt started the Word Alive.
Yeah, because I remember listening to those demos back in the
Yup.
day.
Dude,
Yeah.
and I'm glad that he didn't wind up being the permanent member. I think that he's a great fit for Escape the Fate. But like, could you imagine how much different that band would be today if it was still Craig Mabbitt's band?
Yeah, and honestly, I wish sometimes Craig would go back to like older metalcore or like even modernized metalcore and do it a bit because like he does fit very well with Escape the Fate, but it's like that nostalgia of wanting to hear it, you know.
He don't even got to, man. He could just sit there and, enjoy the royalties off of Escape the Fate for the rest of his life, probably.
I mean, yeah,
He
yeah,
could. He could. But
There's a lot of
for
people
us
like that.
OGs, man, for us who remember, it would
yeah.
be
Nostalgia is a powerful weapon
absolutely.
for music.
I know Suicide Silence has been living off of that. Oops.
Dude, it's just with the Suicide Silence thing, the only thing that confuses me with that situation is like on paper it should have been a fine combination when he joined as the vocalist because he
Yeah.
has good vocals, but I think they just went for a different sound and it didn't pan out. Like sometimes that
Yeah.
happens.
And it's tragic seeing what happened to Suicide Silence because I don't even think that the self-titled album was bad. I think
Yeah.
that it kind of
It was
got
just the
a
it
bum
was
rap
just
for
the
the Teehee
Teehee.
meme. Yeah.
Yeah, it's that one, but that goes to show you one bad part. That's
Yeah.
what
Can
people
like
will pick
destroy
on.
an album. Yeah.
Yeah. And
All it takes is
it's
3
scary.
seconds to become a meme.
Yeah. Yeah. The internet is scary in that regard.
I don't think Jared Dines knew that that was going to happen.
No, I don't think he did.
I think
Yeah.
that's why he stopped doing videos like that, to be honest, because he even like feels bad for what he did to that band.
He's got a lot of power, like a lot.
Yeah.
Absurd amount of power.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize that when they have big platforms is like the more following you have, the more important it is to like think about what
Yeah.
you're saying.
Absolutely, which is why I hope we never get any kind of clout like that, because I want to be able to talk shit for the rest of my life.
I mean,
Fair, as long as you know what you want out of life.
Low key, I do.
I mean, it'd be nice to be able to sit on those YouTube monetization checks, but let's be real, they don't make that much anymore. You got to be as big as like Jared Dines in order to make that kind of money.
Yeah, because some people out there put out amazing content and don't have enough viewers that go to their channels. Like, and it's not even their fault. What'd you say?
Us. I was just kidding.
Oh,
that was a terrible joke.
No, fair. Like that's the truth though, is like unless you're already a bigger name, like it's harder to start getting new people into your channel.
YouTube in general and podcasting is just really hard to get into now, especially when everybody's fucking doing it.
It's pretty saturated now. It's tough, but I don't think a lot of people that are doing podcasting now are going to stick around for the long term.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a fad right now for a lot of people. Like you have to really enjoy it to make it a long-term thing. Like you have to just want to talk to people and just explore those things, because if not, then you're going to get burnt out quick.
I really look forward to, like, in 5 years from now, being able to say this was the quarantine chronicles of when we were doing this podcast, and like we can just playlist that time period of our backlog. And I think a lot of people are going to do something pretty similar, because just having done any type of content like this during the pandemic is going to be, you know, something that we can look back and say, yeah, that was a genre in content creation.
Yeah,
that was a genre in podcasting.
I think I mean, it pretty much is, because it applies to a lot of art forms. Like my buddy who's an artist has been more active at that, because what else can he do? Like bands have had to learn to reapproach how they do certain things, because nowadays there's a lot of bands where people aren't located in the same area. So if there's people from different countries or states, this point in the year it was a lot harder to get video content done. So the approach bands have had to take is like, I figured the digital age was taking over. Like that is the logical progression.
Absolutely.
But I think the pandemic definitely sped that along. Like the amount that people have adapted to, like, now all digital platforms are like the way you hammer everything as an artist, as a content creator. Like that is the way to do things now. It's not so much about in-person stuff like it used to be.
Word of mouth is not as powerful as it used to be, because the power of this device right in front of us, it's pretty amazing. But I think that the live stream thing is going to stick around for a while. I brought this up on a couple of chats, but I really do think that live streaming, as well as like doing your regular performances, could be a very powerful move for bands who have a small tour going and they're only going to do like 5 or 6 dates, but they know that some of their fans aren't going to be able to, you know, take a plane ticket over to, like, let's say Vegas or LA to go see that performance. That's going to be another way for them to monetize what they're doing.
Yeah, no, I agree, because I think in general too, it's the fact of that's a permanent thing you can show someone to be like, this is what we're like live as well. Like you should come out. Like
especially for smaller bands.
Yeah, like a band that's bigger that did it well, which isn't even a band I'm huge into, but like Code Orange's live stream they did, that was a really neat one.
That was really good.
Yeah, I hope I see more bands do like that kind of stuff. I know Dance Gavin Dance has been doing that stuff too, and it's been doing well. So I think you're right. I think it's a new form of content that wasn't thought of really before, but is going to be something that stays even past all this.
Well, even to bring up Suicide Silence again, like their live stream tour was a very unique way to do it, where they would go from city to city and only broadcast to that city, and then offer exclusive merch drops. Like that was a very complicated way to do it, and I think that if they had enough time beforehand to really hype it up, it could have been a lot bigger.
Yeah, it's one of those things, like sometimes great ideas don't pan out just because a little bit of preparation was thrown off. Like you said, if
Yeah.
they had a little bit more advertising for that beforehand, it probably would have done even
I
better.
think they put so much energy into everything that they were trying to do to make it as good as possible. It really clouded the marketing side of that.
Yeah.
But in like 5 or 10 years from now, people will say, "Yeah, I was there for that live stream, and I copped that once in a lifetime shirt."
Oh
That
yeah, dude.
that's gonna be a flex for some people.
That's something that's interesting too, that I think part of the pandemic has like increased, is like some of the groups for like finals for band merch and stuff, like they
Yeah.
seem more active now that this stuff has been going on. Like it seems like collecting is a thing again with band stuff, but funny enough, it's never normally a CD itself. It's like vinyl merch.
Yeah.
And like some of the
I'm a
merch
CD guy.
people, yeah,
I'm a CD
they're out
guy.
there still, but I think it's almost like we're at a tipping point, I think, where vinyl is becoming more popular to own.
Oh no,
It's
that's
weird.
been going on for. I remember the Loudwire article saying something along those lines, that it's been like that for the past like 5 years. That
Wait, has it
Yeah.
really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
vinyl is outselling CDs by like a lot.
I'm not surprised by that, but I didn't know that. That is
Yeah,
interesting though.
Well,
yeah,
I've
you're
also heard that
definitely.
they're like, I've also heard that like they're more better sounding, if that makes sense. Like they sound better on a vinyl than CD, or
I think it
that's
depends
what
on your setup.
I've heard. But well, also your setup too. But I've also heard like it's more. I don't know. It's just it hits different. Okay, I don't know how to. It hit different.
I think for a lot of people, it's like because it's ritualistic almost. Like when you have a vinyl, you take it out of the sleeve. People are way more careful with them because they cost more. And they always
They are
have like
big.
their
They
preferred
are
setup.
big.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that like having the artwork, like the album artwork that big, it's like 9 inches, right? Or something
Yeah.
like that. I don't know
Yeah,
anymore.
something like that.
But having the artwork that big, like blown up that big, it's also a little bit more, I don't know. I think being able to look at the album artwork that way is also kind of interesting, because normally you can't see up close like that into like the little details of album art. And
Yeah.
that's something I actually miss about CDs, is like getting the booklet, being able to
Yeah.
flip through all the pages, go through the lyric books. Like that's something that like is lost on today, that physical merchandise. I think that guys like Alex Terrible are really killing on the physical merchandise side of things. Like between Alex Terrible and Rings of Saturn, like those are probably the two bands that I look up to the most as far as like physical merchandise.
Yeah. I mean, bands need to do more risk with like merch items, especially once you get to that level where people will buy it. Because like
Mm-hmm.
even just goofy things like the whole fad of now doing like coffee stuff like that, like it's interesting. Like I don't know why more bands aren't doing that kind of stuff.
The guy from Lamb of God put out I think it's the guitarist of Lamb of God put out non-alcoholic beer under their name.
Really?
I
And I was
mean,
like,
fuck
huh,
it.
all right. Well, because he's
Or
sober
you
now.
could be the fucking that weird fucking thing that Bro Job does and sells butt plugs. I don't know.
Oh, hell
Hey,
yes.
dude, those
You could do that.
some of those dudes are from where I am, because like I live in Dayton, Ohio, and Cincinnati's like an hour away. So those dudes have been in, two of those dudes have been in my scene, or more. I can't remember at this point, but they're like in my local scene. Like Jacob Wallace is like the
Yeah.
nicest dude, and he's just been around here forever.
That's
And you could be like Bro Job, just sell sex toys.
We played their first show actually.
Oh shit.
damn. I mean,
They're
if you can sell butt plugs with your face on the tip of the penis, then go for it.
yeah, no, exactly. Like why not? If your
Yeah.
fans will buy it, like have fun with it. Like it's who cares?
Exactly. And I feel like their demographic calls for that type of merchandise.
Oh yeah, I mean it would be more disappointing if they didn't sell that kind of stuff. To be honest,
True.
with a name like Bro Job, you can't not have that extreme of merch. It's like when Ramstein made their dildo collection of each member. Like they actually molded each of their dicks into dildos.
That's awesome. I didn't know that actually.
I just remember because like I was like, "There's no way," and then like I looked it up and I was like, "No, this is a real thing," and it's molded after the actual dude's dicks, so it's even funnier.
I was. I
That
also
sounds like a hell
didn't
of a night.
know. I also didn't know that they did sell butt plugs until they posted about it, and I was like, that's not a thing. So I looked it up. Like, holy fuck, that's a thing. And I like turned to my girlfriend and I showed it to her. She's like, no. Locked my phone. I was like,
So I will say they have the best example of an on-brand logo I've ever seen for a band.
Yeah.
It's so many layers of funny because it's one, their acronym is BJ, which is already funny. Their name's Bro Job, and then the dick logo being the B and the J is just perfect. It's too good.
Oh, I love that band so much. They're a band we're gonna have to get on this show at some point.
And they're all so talented too.
yeah, they're also talented as fuck.
Yeah, that's the funniest part is like people can't really shit on them too much because they're all really good at what they do.
Man, I love what they did with the Zodiac cover.
Yeah.
Zoe.
Dude, they also have two of the members have a side project called Cold Harbor that's really good too.
Wait, that's them?
Ooh.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Holy
Yeah,
shit.
Cold Harbor is Jacob Wallace and Josh as well from Bro Job.
Kind of just blew my mind right there. I didn't know that because I've like only listened to a couple of their songs. Damn, good to know. Good to know. Shit. But yeah, I'm kind of curious now that we're talking a little bit more about music. I'm kind of curious about some of the writing process for this new shit that's coming out.
It was an interesting one because we had a lot of member changeovers over the years. So like since Catharsis, it was just a lot of like we'd get progress done, we'd stop, we'd get progress, then something would happen, we'd stop. And the new guitar player, Waylon, who wrote I think 4 of the 10 songs on the album, he joined right as we started writing because we were like, well, if we're going to find someone, we need to find them when we start writing. And then we also found our bass player, now bass player Ian Rimley, and it was a lot of mostly writing each of us at our own house, just because of all the pandemic stuff. Like there'd be times where some members, significant others, or anything would get like COVID. So it's like, what can you do when that kind of stuff's going on? Like you can't, like so you have to write from home. So like a lot of it was just written from home, and all of it was kind of written about like dark feelings in our lives because that's kind of the vibe the pandemic made us all feel. It's just kind of like we want to get kind of that slightly angsty feel out, you know?
No, dude, I definitely can tell based on the 2 singles that I've heard so far. And we have confirmed that Courtney LaPlante, yes, was on I'm blanking on the song title itself, but
Despondent.
Yeah, it's just one of those words that like doesn't like.
It's not a normal vocabulary word at all.
Yeah, because I don't know about you, man, but I always got my pinky out when I'm thinking of words like that.
But see, when it comes to lyrics, I don't use a lot of like complicated words. So like I was like, well, the song title is the most complicated word in this whole song, but okay.
I mean, I love the whole like melodic metalcore thing that you guys are going for. I'm not sure if that's even the right way to describe it, but that feels like the best way to describe it to me.
I mean, that would make sense because while we aren't like Catharsis was a very riff centric album, and for this one we still wanted riffs and stuff, but we also wanted to allow some breathing room, mostly for like my sake for choruses and stuff, because when you have a little bit more room in the choruses, you can kind of expand upon it and do what you want with melodies and stuff. But there's still plenty of movement in there, so I think what you're saying is correct. I guess that would be kind of the area I would put in. I haven't really thought about it until now, to be honest.
Yeah, I just remember listening to it and thinking, damn, like, or especially, Catharsis, just because it kind of made me feel a bit nostalgic in a way, because a lot of bands in my area, in Albany, were very much going for that type of sound. So like a mix between like The Word Alive and like Parkway Drive is probably like a good description. But and that made me feel super nostalgic for that time period, because a lot of bands in like 2010, like when I was still really active in this scene, were going for that sound but couldn't quite hit it the way that you guys did. And that's kind of the vibe I got from it.
Yeah, I think like that whole time period was kind of the start of like a lot of bands weren't necessarily like even us like you weren't ripping off era in those kind of bands, but it definitely was like a period where that new style of metalcore was coming in with that kind of gent influence as well and stuff like that. And I think a lot of the genre was that at that time. And I think we're actually just now, not too long ago, getting at the point where people are branching off more from that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you always have those phases, and like that one stuck around for a while. And I mean, I liked it just
still
because
like it.
it was more riff. It was just early 2000s metalcore with riffs, essentially, is what it was. So like I was about it. But now, like I think we're about to get, like we talked about earlier, the point where it's like people are blending genres so much. Like I'm really curious to see what happens next.
I think there's gonna be a lot of trap.
Yeah, I'm okay with that though. Like I love
Same.
Denzel Curry and stuff, which isn't trap, but like I do like I know I'm not that dumb, but like I want just that kind of vibe. Like a lot of just like rap, trap, that kind of influence when it's done well is so good. Like I think
that's the key part of it when it's done well.
It needs to be good.
Yeah.
Need to get a really good rapper in there if you're gonna go that direction and not
One
just scream really fast.
Yeah, and I've seen someone pull that off really well though, like the screaming only part. It was a dude named Justin Haskin.
Yeah, we've had him on the show twice now.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
love that
Okay.
man's.
Boy.
I love that man's.
Yeah, no, he's like when I heard his, I was like, this is like done well. Like this is like
what it
the way
is to write trap core.
Yeah, it's because most of it does not do anything for me. But when I heard his stuff, I was like, this is the way this genre should go.
Yeah,
like it makes
Absolutely.
sense.
And he got one of the guys from Bro Job to actually do all the instrumentals and mix and master it for him.
That would make sense. I didn't know that, but like
Yeah.
I could see that honestly after listening to his stuff. It sounds good. Like so it worked.
I think it's Fountain of Youth gave me like a distinct like Legend of Zelda vibe. I think it's just because of the way that the melody runs. I don't know. I listen to that EP a lot, actually. A lot. Justin, if you're listening, dude, you fucking killed it on that one. I'm actually really looking forward to shit he's doing next.
Yeah, no, dude's super talented. He just had a kid too, like you did, didn't he?
Yep.
Like a month or two ago.
He's got a baby girl too.
Scary.
It was like 2 months ago.
The thought of like if you hold a child and you drop it is the scary thought.
Who you telling? Bro, I just got my daughter home like a little over a week ago, and it has been great having the newborn around and having a 3.5-year-old already who just like wants everything to do with everything, and it's been really rewarding so far. So if you
that is adorable, honestly. Like I won't lie, that's adorable.
If you want it, go for it, dude. Don't hold back because it's such a rewarding experience, but expect that it's going to eat up a lot of your time.
I need more money first.
Facts. You cannot be financially prepared enough.
You know, that's the thing. I don't think you can ever prepare enough money for that situation.
Unless you're a billionaire.
Yeah, but then you're gonna have like nannies, and they're gonna be the ones raising your kid for you.
Yeah, at that point you don't really have a kid. You just have something to pass money down to.
Exactly. You got a trust fund, baby, and nobody likes those.
I mean, statistically speaking, it does not end well. So
yeah.
Oh man. So what else do we have to expect from the new shit you were trying to show us before that you've got a song with Andrew Patterson, our boy?
Yeah, that song is I'm really curious just because it is such a stark contrast to Despondent. Like it is really heavy. Like my when it comes to like our really heavy stuff, I like Defiance and some of the other ones on Catharsis. Like I didn't write like the lyrics and vocal patterns. Like it's depending on the song, depends on if I do it or if our guitar player Evan does it. And like he wrote Enemy, and it's just super fast the whole time. Like live it's gonna suck, but it's Andrew's part is so heavy that there's a part every time where he says cold and empty, and like I get that stank face where I'm just like, that is the grossest thing I think I've heard in a while.
I am all for it.
It's just vocally is just it's just that disgusting fucking growl.
Andrew's voice, like I've obviously dealt with some of his raw tracks, and like dude can one take everything, and it would be fine. Like I double track a lot of my screams just because like that's how I get mine to sound good, and that's what I've always been taught to do. But I dealt with Andrews, and I was just like, this is crazy. Like this dude's tone is actually monstrous.
Yeah, I don't know how the fuck he does it and how he was so slept on for such a long time.
Yeah,
I
no,
mean, and he still is at this point, which is ridiculous.
He kind of went like a bell curve, really. You know?
Yeah, but I think with his new project, it's definitely going to be the thing he sticks with from now on.
I am super excited for that new project.
I've heard a lot of it, and it is that good. Oh yeah, that's right. He told me that you got to hear. He showed you some of it, and it is.
Anybody
good.
Listening, guys, like you're gonna be blown away by his cleans. Like that really surprised me.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that shit.
Yeah, and I like his because they're very like. I don't know if he likes how I describe them, but they're almost like pop punky in a way. Like it makes me think of like that style.
Thing.
Yeah, like I love it though. Like it sounds really good. It makes it its own vibe.
Pop punk singing works well in like genty prog metalcore. Like
it just works in metalcore no matter what.
Yeah, true.
I always feel like Rhodey Walker from Protest the Hero is like the extreme end of like a pop punk styled singer in like metal, which I love his voice and I love that band, but he is like, dude smokes like 2 packs of cigarettes a day. Like, crazy. I don't know. He has a love song about cigarettes. Like, I don't know how he does it.
Has William Control heard that song yet? Just saying.
Probably.
Sorry, like I was actually surprised, Loki, like when we did our interview with William Control, that he wasn't like lighting up the whole time. I thought he was going to be smoking the whole way through.
Were you sound disappointed that
he
wasn't.
I am, and he was like way more of like acting like a family guy than like what I was expecting. I was expecting like rock star energy from this guy.
I honestly was not. I didn't know what to expect with William, to be completely honest with you. I kind of figured he was going to be a really cool dude, but I just didn't expect how he was gonna act.
I mean, I think he would agree when I say that like he's a little bit of a snob in his own way.
I mean, we all are.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's a lot of people that are like that in the metal genre, but the problem comes when you just don't acknowledge that you are. Like, it's okay to be one. Like, it's just like it's okay to honestly be an asshole as long as you're like, yeah, I'm an asshole. Okay.
But you gotta be a lovable asshole. You can't just be an asshole for the sake of it.
You can't go on like people's Facebooks and just go to their page and be like, fuck you, like just on their page for no reason.
You're canceled. Yeah, those people don't last very long because people don't want to do you favors when you act like that.
Yeah.
It's not like
networking's the key. Networking really is like the most important thing, and a lot of people think talent carries you, and it's like
not really.
It's not like it used to be. Like now everyone can record from home and there's so many talented people out there. Like you have to, you know, give something that's better than that. Like just being like a decent human being.
I think I agree with that. I've been really subscribing to Gary Vaynerchuk's like whole philosophy when it comes to just like how to be as a human being first and foremost, but also like how you handle social media and stuff like that. Definitely somebody to look up to if anybody listening doesn't actually know who Gary Vaynerchuk is.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I do not know who that is.
He's an influencer, early investor in like Facebook, Twitter, and a lot of like growing social media platforms.
Also, that guy has an eye and understands how that stuff works then.
And like he accidentally found himself as like a motivational speaker, which I think is the most hilarious thing in the world because he doesn't sound like a motivational speaker. He's like, if you're not posting, 9 times a day on this platform, then fuck you, you're just being lazy. Like that's
really?
His whole yeah, for real.
I mean, but if it works, it works.
Speaker, yeah.
But also, like, I can kind of see through him because, like, when he says shit like that, I'm like, oh, but you invested in these companies, so like, of course you want people overly active on these platforms because you have stake in the platform.
Yeah.
So like, a part of me is like, okay, I can see why you're telling people to be like that, but also like, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
But he's not wrong either. Like, how do you expect to succeed when you post once a month and you've got 3 songs that you released that year as an artist? Like, what do you expect?
Yeah, that whole topic is another thing. It's like
Oh yeah.
the way of the CD is essentially
Yeah.
done.
As much as I hate it, dude, because I love collecting CDs.
No, and I get it because that's why I think the next move, at least my personal opinion, will be stuff like, was it the Ghost Inside who did it? I could be wrong. I don't remember which one band it was at this moment, but it was like released 2 songs and just did them in like batches
Oh,
until
that
they
was
had
the
enough
Acacia
songs.
Strain.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
that
It
was
was.
really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is the
Acacia
Acacia Strain. You're right. I had a brain fart there, but yeah, how they did it is I think the way it'll probably go because it's like release the album after you have so many songs out. Just because like Spotify and all of the streaming platforms algorithms like constant uploads. So when you upload a
Yeah.
whole album at once, you're losing part of what you could gain from the algorithm by not uploading those separately. And I hate that it's become that, but you have to play the game if you want to go anywhere.
I think we're entering a singles world for
Yeah.
sure. The
Mhm.
album cycle is kind of obsolete in a way. But it depends on you. It really depends on you and like your sound because
Yeah.
your genty prog bands are gonna be just fine. Those guys
Yeah.
have a lot like the fan base has a lot of money and they're willing to put that money in.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
feel like I was thinking about that actually because we had a band meeting earlier today and we were actually kind of talking about that. It's like dudes who are in the like prog and like genty stuff, they're like all dudes that are kind of like closer to their 30s at this point. So it's like they all have stable jobs, they have money, like disposable income, like it, and it's not every genre that has that. Like you can't
Yeah.
do that with other ones.
It's funny when
So
you
it's
go
just
into the gent
interesting.
shit posting group and you expect a bunch of like actual like cringe type shit posting, but a lot of these guys, if you go to their profiles and shit, they're actually pretty well set off people.
Yeah, just people bored and goofing around, honestly.
And then you switch over to like the deathcore shit posting groups, and it's like, oh, yep, you guys are definitely like little punk ass kids. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Deathcore is definitely the new punk rock as far as like
Yeah.
energy wise, like the type of people that get into it.
Yeah, I'm in some deathcore groups. And the genre has some amazing bands out right now, like genuinely. And it's like, but half the fans are like try to fight everyone in an argument on post, and
Literally.
the other half are just people like, guys, I just want to hear some heavy stuff. Like, please.
Just play a fucking breakdown. That's all I care about.
Yeah, like I don't want to care about all this arguing. Just show me new music. I don't care about any of this.
The only thing that I have to offer to that conversation as far as like, deathcore as a whole and the problems within it is the whole not neo-Nazi shit that I'm seeing is like it's starting to become a real problem. Whereas like before
Yeah,
I thought that was just like,
a
an
meme.
attempt at being edgy.
Yeah, yeah, it's bad. Like that's one thing I don't understand is like that has to be rooted somewhere, and I'm unsure what the correlation is with deathcore that like attracts those people. I don't understand myself honestly.
Well, do you like blackened deathcore and just shit along those lines, like as evil as it can possibly sound?
See, and that's not really like I like heavy stuff, but I like more like groovy heavy. I always have. So like,
Mhm.
while I will listen to some heavier stuff, like the new Brand of Sacrifice album is sick. Like I really
Oh,
like that
absolutely.
album.
Nobody's gonna
But
disagree with you on that.
like I'm not huge into the heavier stuff as a whole. Like I'm picky about it, mostly because I am a production snob. I will say that.
Well, that's why you like the new Brand of Sacrifice stuff. It's very well produced.
Exactly. Like, and I hate that that does limit me on some bands I listen to, but I can't help it. It's like one fact that I want good audio quality. Like I need to hear it that way.
Yeah.
I'm on kind of the opposite side where like my ear will be drawn, yes, to like good production and shit, but like there is a part of me that loves really shitty recordings when the band itself sounds like really tight.
And that is like it's like an aesthetic choice, and that's why it's not a wrong thing. Like production is as much as an art form for a band as the music itself. I feel like production that might sound good on like Tesseract, which is some of my favorite, like that low end thud with genty stuff. Put that on a super riffy band like Between the Buried and Me, and it would sound horrible. Like it wouldn't sound right. So it's like production itself is a huge part of it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Some
Um,
bands sound good sounding like they're recorded through a toaster. It's just how it is.
I mean, the Misfits literally got away with that their entire career.
You're right. You are correct.
And I love the Misfits, so it's like you can't win, you can't lose. It just depends on who you are. Like you got to sell you.
Yeah, that's true.
Man, it's funny how that works out. Like you almost got to sell yourself as a brand more than you have to sell the music. Like the music has kind of become secondary.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. Like music is you have to have good music to succeed, but like it's well debatable I would say depending on who you ask, but like it's good to someone if you're doing well, but it's only like a part of it anymore. It isn't the deciding factor.
I mean, Belle Delphine has music out and it does really well. So like that kind of
So does a band of Amanda Bynes, but hers is trash.
I didn't know that.
Didn't know that either.
Yeah, she's back doing emo rap, so don't worry.
Shut the fuck up. Like new?
I'm
like
dead ass fucking serious.
I'm gonna look that up after this. I did not
You
know
don't
that
want to. Don't. I don't.
No,
Me,
I
don't.
need to see this for the sheer like you know how like you'll watch B movies because B movies are so bad they're good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I feel like Amanda Bynes being an emo rapper is gonna be for me.
Probably. I mean, that's why I watch Ice JJ Fish. So if you don't know who Ice JJ Fish is, you definitely if you like watching bad things just because they're bad.
That's just terrible.
Like there is tasteful bad.
There is, but this is like
terrible.
Like there's a part in one of the intros of the songs I thought it was like a flock of seagulls like coming over a horizon or something. It was like he layered his voice so many times, but it is the weird. I'll link you after this. It is something else.
We need links to everything we've been talking about today.
Yeah, the only thing that I remember from JJ Fish is like,
yeah, it's like so pitchy and all over the place. And he's just vibing hard the whole time. He's just dancing, doing his thing the whole time. It's
like T-Pain type pitch stuff, or
no,
that's how it sounds.
That's the problem. Is it's not even like auto-tuned. It sounds like at all. Like it just sounds like his voice is cracking and stuff, and it's all over the place.
Shit. So like my raw vocals, basically.
Probably most people's raw vocals, but no one talks about those things.
Ooh.
I think all vocalists like hide the fact that raw vocals normally sound awful. Like most people's like it's not a problem. It's part of the process.
As long as you can like own that, I think like most people will be cool with it.
But well, plus it's even like live, like even when you scream through a PA, like there's still normally some reverb and stuff on it. So it's like it sounds better then. It sounds how it's supposed to.
Well, even like you go to like insert any generic local venue and the sound quality is absolute garbage. It hides the fact that you sound like garbage a lot of times. Yeah. You can rely on that, which is why we have this resurgence of hardcore bands. And I love it. I'm here for it.
Dude, it reminds me once we did play with Knocked Loose before they like blew up.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like they were the second to last band and we were the last band, which is already not good news because after they played, everyone was gone. It was 1 a.m. Our like backtracking didn't work. We played to like 3 people, but it was probably the angriest set I think we've ever played.
I have a special place in my heart for those shows where you really just play for the people, for the other bands and like their friends who they brought.
Like, yeah, but it's still, you can't back down. You gotta you still gotta do well. Like because if you just slack off, it's gonna be like, well, you just look bad. It's not a good look.
You clearly only care about like
clout and shit.
Yeah.
I just always look at it as like, if no one's really there but band dudes, it's like, well, at least like this is a time to practice the whole set. Like
I'm gonna call out everybody, like everybody from the other band. I'll be like, you motherfucker, I see you with your arms crossed. Get in this pit. Let's have a good time.
Yeah, we had some people do that. Once we had like a bar show where they were allowing people under 21 in, but then like right when we were about to play, they were like, never mind. Everyone who's under 21, get out of here. So we had our one friend standing there watching us, and we're like, "This one's to you, man." Like, because there's no one else.
To you.
This one's to you, John.
But all you can do is have fun with those moments. I feel like people get too fixated on like the amount of people at their shows, and it's like if you can make someone's day better, even if it's one person, like hell yeah, it was worth it. It's fun.
play every show like it's a fucking sold out arena show. Who fucking
Yeah.
cares?
Exactly. You're there to have fun, and if you're not, then you're doing it for the wrong reasons.
I just can't imagine the person that like gets up on that stage, looks out, sees like 4 or 5 people, and goes, "I don't even want to be here, so let's just get this over with."
I've seen some people pretty much do that, and it's like, dudes, this is not a good vibe to have right now.
Because what you're telling those few people that are there, they're gonna remember that.
Yeah, they're gonna remember that you were pretty much like, the
Fuck
amount of
this.
you here isn't worth my time. Eat shit.
Yeah, or like I've seen big bands just like completely not play and just like dip out because the local bands didn't sell enough tickets basically.
And that's not a good thing, because the people who are there who still paid for tickets, like, I remember when I was a young kid and went out, and I was like super hyped, even though there are some shows I went to with only a few people. Like, I remember those.
Yeah. It's one of those moments that like I think having the rug swept out from a lot of big bands, obviously to bring COVID back into it again, but having the rug swept out from all of these bands will remind people every show matters. I think that's gonna put like really become kind of like a wake up call to a lot of these bands. Like, yeah, every show fucking matters. Like, take them seriously, appreciate them while you got them, because you never know when they might not be there.
Yeah. And I do think, though, that's going to be the good thing, is once it is safe to have shows regularly again, you're just going to see a new appreciation for shows happening again. Just because so many people haven't been able to do it, you're going to see band dudes who are super excited to play, and dudettes. They're both excited to play. You're going to have fans who, like, even local shows. People haven't been able to go to a lot of like good local shows in a while, so I think people are going to be ready to go.
Well, there have been some shows still going on.
Yeah.
We can't pretend like they don't exist.
Yeah, there is, but it's like, even the ones that are going on, I don't really see, at least in my area, a lot of people going to them. Like, I'll look at like the event pages, and there are people who are going to them, but it's like not near what it was before all this happened.
Well, I think there is something to be said about the difference between how many people click accepted and going, than people actually showing up to certain events.
Yeah, because it's always less. No matter what anyone says, it's always less.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it says 50 people are going, but I got like 100 people behind me. They're gonna be there. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I promise, bro. Just come to my show, bro. It'll be a good time, bro. Please.
Promoter, just let me play. Just let me play.
I'll like my band page.
Like my band page, please. It's important. It's important. Yeah, so what else can we talk about? I know the new album comes out on the 26th, is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
So it comes out pretty soon. It's in like 2 or 3 weeks now. So what else can you tell us about the new record?
It's kind of all over the place, honestly, because we have another song that's similar to Despondent, but I would say it's even more a little more radio sounding, and it's not even like the sake of we wanted to force that sound. It's just we like making what we make. So we have a song that's like that, and you have Enemy coming out soon, and that's like super heavy. But then we have one called Suffering is a Contest, where it's almost like
No, I'm sorry. That title is just too perfect.
That's what we just thought it was, honestly kind of funny. Like, I like it. But it's the most edgy, angsty song I think we've ever made, and it was made just to have fun. Like, the chorus is straight up almost like Linkin Park type vibes. We were just like, we just want to have fun. Like, it's all over the place, honestly. So it's hard to explain. All I can tell is, if you like metalcore but you like listening to a wide variety, it's gonna be that kind of album for a lot of people that keeps them interested. But if you like bands that have like one static sound, which is fine, there's never anything wrong with that. But if that's what you're looking for out of an album, I wouldn't say this would be the one for you, but it just depends on your taste,
I think that people collectively are more open than they used to be, though. Like, despite all the gatekeepers that are out there, I think collectively we're all a little bit more diverse than we like to pretend we are.
Yeah, it's like, even I, a few years ago, didn't like rap or anything, and like now I listen to all that stuff. So I think that's kind of happened to a lot of people in the metal genre. So now it's just kind of like everyone listens to everything in some degree.
Yep.
Still waiting on the right country project, but Murder
Yeah.
Folk
Bro,
is
I
pretty
showed
close.
you.
Murder Folk is pretty close. It's just not
Murder
country.
Folk is amazing.
I like that genre. I like this idea of like horror folk type, like I like that idea. And like the closest that we got is that one guy that
Amigo the Devil.
Amigo the Devil. Like he's the closest to country I think I'll ever get into.
He is so good, dude.
See, that's the one genre I can't get into either because I grew up in a village. So growing up in a graduating class of like 70 or 80, like I hate country. We had drive your tractor to school day. Like I got so sick of Dude, we had a fundraiser where we beat the shit out of a car with a sledgehammer.
I mean, I'd be down with that.
But it's a bunch of
and
children
you only got
that are
70
like
people?
well, like in my class, like my class for my year, yeah. So it's like the sledgehammer thing sounds fun until you realize it's a bunch of like 16 to 18-year-olds who have a horrible concept of safety, just hitting it. So like,
I mean,
eventually got canceled.
I gotta be honest, I'm sold.
I'm sold.
Now, the logical part of me was like, some kid's about to yeet this sledgehammer over his head one day, so I'm not gonna be the guy who gets hit with. I'm not getting a sledgehammer facelift today.
Nice Cannibal Corpse reference. I like that.
It's one of the few I know.
Oh my god. No, that's
tractor to work. They're trying to tractor.
Hey, it was there was a cow field next to our school too, so like it's that kind of place, man.
John Deere got his promo for that day.
I'm glad. Most people are like, I miss high school. I'm like, nah.
So you wouldn't start all over with all the knowledge that you have now? I
would, though, just because then I could be like, this is not worth my time and just go do something else.
That's fair. That's totally fair. I don't think college is right for me. I think Skillshare is totally up my alley.
For me.
I went and got a degree in communications, and I don't think I should have, but I did.
Oh, that is such like a half-hearted chuckle thing to like laugh at. It's like, yeah, I wasted 2 years of my life on this degree, but I have something on
that's where you're wrong. See, I have a smooth brain, my friend, so I did it between other stuff, and it took me 6 years to get my associate's degree. So
wow.
I didn't I didn't fail that many times and like have to keep doing it. I just was slow at it. I don't know what else to say. Smooth brain, man.
Well, that's something I'm gonna have to steal from you, the smooth brain thing, because I had to triple up on science in my senior year of high school. Like it was so bad that like I had to come back for another half a year and finish up one of my science classes.
But dude, let's be honest, how schools test people isn't a good indication of how intelligent people are. Like it's how good you can memorize things for testing. It's not actually knowledge.
How good are you at the game of memory?
Yeah, exactly.
Basically.
And I'm not at all.
Yeah. My short-term memory is done.
For Christ's sake, Pat, I forget my age. Okay?
What's my age again? Yo, he did this on a podcast not too long ago. He was like, how old am I? Shit. Girlfriend comes walking in and be like, you're fucking 23. You're 23. Why do I have to remember everything for you?
Dude, it's okay. I just forgot my birthday one year. It was when I was still living at home, and my mom's like, happy birthday. And I was like, what? What day is it?
I'm there though. I'm there.
There's no way I'll forget my birthday because she's got this huge ass thing for it, so I won't forget it.
You could forget it until the moment that it's like surprise, and I'm like,
well, no, Patrick.
Yeah.
She's doing since my birthday is on the 11th. She's getting me 11 presents, so every day I open a present until the 11th.
That's a concept right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a cute concept.
Yeah, she found it off of TikTok. So
yeah, I just got a chirp wheel for my birthday, and I'm stoked on that.
I don't do shit on my birthday. Like it's the most unsatanic thing about me, but I don't celebrate my birthday very much. I don't do shit.
I would be fine with like a 30 rack of beer, and that's it. Just like give me a 30 rack of beer. fine.
The thing I got was like a thing meant to pop your back, and so
I need
like
that. Fuck.
I was like,
Yep,
"Yep,
you're
this
definitely.
is it, peak form."
This is
This is getting ready for tour.
I'm at my fucking peak right now.
Dude, that's why I actually soon need to start working out again, because I was thinking about how when shows come back, I'm so out of shape, I will probably die on stage right now.
I actually made this joke a few podcasts back that like, people are all hyped and ready to go back to shows, but most of us are gonna be like, yes, let's hop in the pit, but like be winded halfway through.
Yeah,
Not
like
even.
literally 1 minute into a song, be like, oh, hold on, my back.
Shit.
I'm just gonna go rest for a bit, and then it's like you just sit in the back the whole
Yep.
concert. Now you're like, yep, that
Yep.
was it, the glory days.
I'm gonna be that
That's-
guy bringing a hoagie.
Dude, I am that guy who's always in the back. Like if there's good food, I will just sit in the back and watch a band and just eat good food. Like
I feel that.
I just like watching bands and how they perform on stage. The pit always, like, I am clumsy. I always get hit in the head every time. I'm just dumb.
Yo.
I can't
I
avoid
try
it.
to go where nobody's in it.
And I'm just gonna mosh my own little
Yeah,
space.
exactly.
I have no spatial awareness. I will get knocked out.
Look, I'm not saying that's happened to me, but it's happened to me.
I've seen it happen to a lot of people, honestly. You're always just like, oh, that actually, okay, yep, let's get him up and drag him off from here. We'll see what
Then they
happens
just
next.
leave you laying there, like most of the time.
Ooh. Luckily, I haven't seen that too much, but it does happen. You aren't
Yeah.
wrong.
We're just gonna mosh around this kid. When he wakes up and realizes what's going on, he's gonna be like, "Oh, word."
Yeah.
How many sets did I miss? Or
Shit,
he's
it's
getting
all.
By
The
the
show's over.
bartender when it closes.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say.
Come on, dude. Come on.
Yeah, hit pretty hard.
Oh shit. Logan,
Back
do you
in-
have any good
Haymaker.
show stories?
I'm trying to think of any show stories. I will say I used to something that's tied to shows. I used to throw up before every show I ever played because I used to have like horrible anxiety about it. Outside of that, nothing. I know there are some, but I can't recall any really. Outside of like dumb stuff like going into a concert, like concrete building, go use the bathroom, and there's just a fresh puddle of blood on the floor, and you're like, oh, this is like recent blood, just a huge puddle. Okay, like I'm safe. I'm okay. And then like
I got a half a chub walking past this. No big deal.
pretty much. And then like playing New York, we played at like some places where it was like a horror themed bar with like burlesque dancers, and it was just stuff like that is always interesting because like I didn't know the venue was like that, and we got there and I was just like, this is like entering into another world. I'm unsure how I feel about this.
There's a place in Arizona. I can't remember what it's called, but there was a place like that in Arizona. I missed that fucking place. But what was this place called?
I honestly cannot remember.
Well, we did just talk about short-term memory, so it's all good.
Yeah.
Dude, it's weird because like a lot of people, reason why it's hard for me to think of stories from tour is like a lot of people I feel like on tour always tend to remember the bad things that happened to them. And it's like the only things I tend to focus on and remember are like things I enjoyed, things that were just fun. So it's like I remember things like playing that show for Bro Job's release show. That was just a fun show because everyone there was super nice. The Shadow of Intent dudes were nice. I actually gave Bender a like Halo sword, like the energy sword that I think is above his fireplace now.
Really?
Yeah,
Word.
like because I know he's super into Halo, and they were like $5 or something at like GameStop, and I was like, you know what? I know I'm going to see him soon. This will be funny. So it was like a full size one. It was goofy.
You know he's gonna remember that forever too.
Yeah, and I've really not talked to him much since then either. Like he was super nice. It was just like, I know he likes Halo. I'm a nerd. I'll give this to him.
That's one of those things that like if you don't know that about Shadow of Intent, it's like how do you not? Especially after Reclaimer. It's just I don't know. Like I'm not even a big Halo guy, and I got that vibe.
Yeah.
Halo.
I actually
used to.
I remember the Newgrounds.
Or I
like
should
I
say
don't know.
used to, yeah.
I don't know if anybody remembers newgrounds.com. but
Yeah.
they used to have like individual artists would like just like upload one-off songs up on there, and there was a metal version of the Halo theme song that I used to spin a lot.
Dude, I remember that actually from like way back in the day.
Those were the days, man. I used to spend way too much time on Newgrounds playing all the
Yeah,
Flash
Newgrounds
games.
is that site where you could be playing a chill game and you click one wrong link and next thing you know it's furry porn. Not much you can do about it.
The demon hentai games I did not spend any time playing. Yeah, but they were there. They existed. That was a time.
Hey, dude, like Filthy Frank said, if you watch a little hentai on the download, nothing wrong with that, man. Nothing wrong with that.
Oh, dude. Well, that's the shit we're trying to write right now. Like, I haven't really talked about it too much on the podcast, but that's the vibe. That is the vibe for sure.
Dude, nothing wrong with that. It's whatever you want it to be.
I wonder how uncomfortable certain people are going to be when they first hear it. That's all I want to know. I want to see skin crawl, for sure.
I mean, that's the kind of stuff you definitely want reaction videos to then, if that's like the vibe you're going for.
Well, like, I don't know. So like I'll pitch you the idea. I don't know if I'll actually keep this on the final upload or anything, but we'll see. But the idea is the band is called Cum Bubbles. I want all the songs to be under a minute long because TikTok. And hella like Vine type samples, hella like porn samples.
Yeah, or
think
just
like
movies.
Yeah, just like think like Bro Job meets Infinite Annihilator meets I Wrestled a Bear Once.
And see, I think that's the interesting thing is like with the rise of stuff like TikTok, it's like social media can dictate forms of art, and that's definitely like an example of something that makes sense to use on those kind of platforms.
Yeah,
but it's
absolutely.
like if it wasn't for that platform existing, you probably would have never had that thought. But I'm for it. You should do it. It's funny.
I wonder how far it'll go, but it's one of those things like I'm sure anybody I talk to on the show will understand that like writing music is such a process that like it's just it's very time consuming. And you'd think that like the premise of the music would be very simple to write, but it's really not. Like trying to cram like 5 really weird riffs into a less than a minute song and then have like 6 over the top samples, it's really not as simple as it might sound.
Well, plus that's the difference between you can make and shit out like a meme core song, but it's like to make it actually listenable and like funny at the same time is a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
And add like some vocals, just very little.
Yeah.
Just fucking
yeah. Yeah, but I'm definitely going for that whole what the fuck vibe because I don't know. I feel like it takes a lot to captivate people's attention today.
Yeah. Dude, I remember, speaking of the phrase what the fuck, I remember when I swore that Carnifex sampled Tourette's Guy, but it wasn't. I used to always
what the
fuck was Tourette's Guy.
Yeah. Oh, man. Now I'm curious, like, what is that sample actually from? If it's not
I don't
from Tourette's
know.
Guy.
I thought it was Tourette's Guy, but I remember reading it's not.
That's so
weird. Because it sounds just like him.
Well, I know that the I don't know if you listen to last podcast on the left, but their intro has that oh shit. That's definitely straight from Tourette's Guy.
Yeah.
That's like one of those like that voice.
Yeah, I found out like apparently he lived only like an hour and a half from here. Like Tourette's Guy did. He was like in Columbus, Ohio.
Really? That sounds like some Ohio shit though.
It is. Ohio has become a meme for a reason at this point.
And so, like, do you actually know if he legit has Tourette's or not? Because, like, that was always the question. Was like, is he legit or is this just an act?
There's like a YouTube channel called like Wavy Web Surf or something like that, and he does like lore breakdowns on memes. And I watched one recently, and it's like it was definitely like a dude who like thought of the idea. So like I don't think he did, but it was at a time period where there was no way to really prove if he did or not. So like.
And then his whole like disappearance out of nowhere.
Just supposedly he's still alive.
I think so.
And, yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I think we'll all hear about it when he does, though.
The thing I don't get though is if him and Bill Murray exist in the same city, like Johnny Frank lives up in the same like Columbus, like why he needs to find him and get him on a Bill Murray song even as a sample.
Hell yes.
It would be too perfect.
I don't know why, but when you said Bill Murray, I thought the actual actor.
No, the band. It is funny though. Like I always think of the
Yeah.
actor first every time.
Yeah. I just love the idea of like, okay, well, Bill Murray and Tourette's guy live in the same city. Why haven't those two made a movie together yet?
That's
where I
I
thought
would
you were
watch that
going.
as well.
It'd be the dumbest fucking movie, but it'd be good.
I think, and as much as I like Bill Murray, a lot of his movies are dumb as shit.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's like Adam Sandler. If you can just do it.
Yeah.
Thing is about Adam Sandler is that he doesn't age well. Like a lot of his movies have kind of become like almost cancelable.
There's I just am thinking of the Filthy Frank video he made on Adam Sandler, and it's essentially about how Adam Sandler makes like the worst movies on purpose and just gets his buddies into it, and like that's the whole point. Is like he's become like satire of himself, so like he can shit out anything and it doesn't matter.
I feel like that's his brand though.
It is. It definitely is. And if you if you look at pictures of the way he dresses when he goes out, that dude does not give a single fuck.
Change. Yeah, he did not change whatsoever.
He does not give a fuck.
I'm sure he's a lot more woke than he is in his movies. Like he's probably more with the times than he likes to pretend. So like a lot of the jokes that he makes are almost like cringe on purpose.
Yeah. I think that is like
it.
I think that's the whole point.
Yeah. And like between that and just knowing that like I don't know if this is necessarily true, but I had heard somewhere that like he only takes movie offers so that he can go vacation in those areas or something to that effect.
I mean, I believe it because like all of his movies always have his buddies in them, so he's probably like, "Hey, let's just go get paid to do this."
He's so fortunate to even be in Hollywood that like for him, it's just like everything is just a treat, so we should treat it all like that.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Oh man. But I think we are right about that time where we start wrapping things up. Kyle, did you have any other questions?
I don't think so.
All right. Logan, anybody you want to shit talk or thank before we let you go?
Well, first, just you guys for having me on because this has been fun. I like that I went into this being like, okay, I'm going to have to talk about a bunch of music stuff, but I really like the direction it went because this was fun.
Honestly, I like the more like shit chat style that we do on this because who wants to be asked a million questions, really?
Well, plus it's the fact that a lot of that stuff will be asked by other people at some point anyways. So like having that other kind of content where it's just learning more about people is an interesting take on it in its own way.
Absolutely.
As far as shouting people out, I guess one would be Anthony DiGiacomo. He's the dude who mixed our album and is a good buddy of mine. He also is the guy who mixed Unaleska, like Andrew's project. He's a good buddy of both of ours, which also I'd like to I wanted to shout out Andrew. He's been literally the best at helping, even with Eternal Void. Like he's helped us on so much, like hooking us up with people to mix with videos. Like the dude genuinely is a great friend and just a great musician. And then also like my buddy Thomas, and then my buddy Trey Watson as well. He is a YouTuber who does like anime stuff, but it's really good. Like if you like anime covers but want one that's done really well, look him up. He's fluent in Japanese as well, so he can like do everything.
Fuck yeah.
Sorry
to put some links in the bottom.
Sorry to have such a long list, and that's not even all of the people I'd like to thank, but lately I've been helped by a lot of friends, so like it's a good feeling to have those people support me. So
no, if anything, dude, I respect the hell out of that. A lot of times people look at us like, well, what the fuck am I supposed to say here? I wasn't expecting this.
Yeah.
Well, I think when you get
sometimes.
Well, when you're given those chances, you should just thank people who've genuinely helped you, or just been good friends. Because what's the point if you aren't surrounded by good people,
That is so true. That is so true. All right, man. Well, stick around so we can give you a proper salute. But yeah, guys, thanks for checking out the New Music Podcast. If you've made it this far, you know what it is, man. Give us a like, a comment, a subscribe. We really appreciate all that shit. 5-star. So yeah, technical difficulties. You just saw the slide. You know what happened. But yeah, Kyle, what the hell did they do to that bell button?
You probably kill the fuck out of that bell button.
Press that button. Press the fucking button.
Oh man. And as always, Logan, get fucked.
Nice.